Hello, hello, and welcome to Dwell According to Knowledge, the talk show. I am your host and your coach, Trey. And this is your relationship tip for today. All right, let's get to this. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to do something different today. Okay, right now I'm going to do, let's ask ourselves some questions before we get into relationships. Okay, now I got 17 questions that every man or woman should ask themselves before they get into relationships. Okay, how about that? There's a ton of them I can ask you, but I'm going to ask you these right here because I think these are very, very important that you need to ask yourself when, if, and before you get into relationships, so you can have a few things already in order before you get there. Okay. All right. Let's start. Let's start with this. Falling in love is a wonderful thing, and trust me, it really is. The feeling that you get when the love of your life walks into a room, that feeling makes your heart melt. But you can't get into relationships only because of love, okay? You have to ask yourself a few questions before you decide to spend your life or even just time with another person. Now, relationships are a beautiful thing, but they take work. And if you enter in it ill prepared, you're just setting yourself up for failure. And I believe a lot of this stuff has to do with some things that I'm going to ask these questions about. Okay. Now, a lot of failed relationships are a result of people entering in the relationship without being prepared. Sometimes that incredible feeling of love clouds our judgment and we lose sight of other things that matter. To increase your odds of entering into a relationship that'll last, you need to keep it real with yourself. Okay. I need you to do that. All right. Now, if you can't do it, it'll come back to haunt you. Okay. Now, of course, there are many questions you need to ask your potential mate, a boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. You got to ask them some of these same questions. And I got a ton of them in my book, From Dwell According to Knowledge as well. We'll talk about that one in a little bit later on. But before you start grilling the man or the woman, take a minute to look in the mirror and have a one-on-one with yourself first. It can make all the difference, and the learning will never end. Okay? Question number 1. Do I have unresolved issues with your past? Your mom, your dad, your grandpa, your uncle, or things that happened as a child, or any of those things? And if so, have you taken steps or taking steps to work through them? Did you get that? Okay. Now, number 2, have I lived on my own? And if not, do I want to? Okay. These are some serious questions, y'all. I'm telling you, you got to get to these, before you can get a good foothold or a good foundation. Okay. Number 3, where do I stand on having children? Or have I considered all of the possibilities? Okay. You need to get to these things. Okay. All right. Now, number 4, am I ready and willing to embrace his or her family, especially including the children he or she may have on their own? Okay, because we don't want any mama drama, baby mama drama, papa mama drama, or whatever else, any kind of drama that may come with, accepting the family, accepting the kids, and of course the exes in their lives and stuff like that. Okay. Number 5, am I clear on who I am and what I want out of life? That is a very, very important question. And you're definitely going to have to ask yourself that right before you get into the relationship. A lot of this stuff need to happen well in advance, but right now we're just going to make sure that before you get into one, or even if you're in one now, you need to ask yourself these questions for real. Okay. Number 6, do they add joy to my life, or I'm going to ask them in a personal kind of way. Okay. Am I clear on who, does he or she add joy to my life, or am I making him or her my only source of joy? Okay. If you don't have it already, no one's going to be able to give it to you. And if you have it, no one's going to be able to take it away. You know what I mean? So if they go away, they won't take your joy. You understand? Okay, good. Am I still carrying baggage from previous relationships? This one's my favorite question because a lot of times we jump right into another one and haven't even resolved the one that we just got out of. And sometimes I've been with women that haven't been in a relationship in years. But guess what? They haven't resolved the one they had got out of. And some of them 10, 15, maybe even more years. And I'm going, because they got out of the relationship, but they didn't do any work. Didn't do any work. Okay? All right. Now, number 8, when it comes to life, the life that I want, what are the things that I consider non-negotiable? I have 3 right off the top. If you haven't been a Christian, if you're not a Christian, if you smoke cigarettes, and if you use drugs and alcohol, you can't even get anywhere in. You can't even get anywhere in within arm's length of me. Just, talking about a relationship. Okay, so those are my non-negotiables. I have a few others, but those are my top 3. What are yours? Do I believe in traditional roles, or do I expect something different? What traditional roles? What they did back in the day. As far as relationships are concerned, the man is the head, that kind of stuff, and the woman is the helper. You know what I mean? So remember that. What are your roles in the relationship? Okay. Now, am I myself when I'm with them, or am I trying to be someone else to please them? Whew. That's a weird question. But it's a real one too. Don't be nobody else. That question is asking you, are you being yourself? Simple as that. Okay. Now, am I clear on what I want? Am I clear on why I want to even be in a relationship? And are there good reasons? Ask yourself. You know what I mean? Okay. What would be missing from my life if they weren't in it? That's a valid question. Okay. Now, do we share the same values? Okay. Make sure that they don't have to be, 100 out of 100, but they got to be, you got to share some of the same stuff. Okay. Now, do they recognize my worth? And an even better question is, do you recognize your own worth? Okay. Now, am I in love with him or her, or the idea of just being in the relationship? You know what I mean? Just being in a relationship. I'm good, because I've seen some folks, they smile like I don't know what, but their focus is they don't have the feeling, the separate feeling that you have versus the feeling of just, oh God, I'm in a relationship. I can't believe it. Ooh. Be in the relationship because of you, not because of the relationship. Okay, and then the relationship, rolls in. Do I feel pressured by any outside forces to get in a relationship or anything? And outside forces can be something as simple as, I ain't been in a relationship in 10 years. So anybody that comes to me, boom, I'm gonna get in there. Oop, don't do that. Okay. All right, now, number 17, does he or she add something meaningful to my life? It's just like one that I did about the relationship box. If they're not adding to you in some way, shape, form, or fashion, then they're taking away. You hear me? All right. I hope you all got something from that. Write these questions down and ask yourself some serious stuff. These serious questions here. Okay? All right. This is Trey, your coach and author of Dwell According to Knowledge, How to Find and Date Your Mate. It's on Amazon. Go get it. I'll put it in the link in the description below. Okay? Go get the book. And it's going to have a few other more questions that you need to ask yourself as well. Okay? All right. Subscribe, like, and share. Not necessarily in that order. And I'll see you in the next video. God bless.